afternoon, ego sum. I am Chris, and this is Chris in English. And I want to know, are you ready for the holidays? Because I am ready to start celebrating. I've been on lockdown since, I don't know when. Now, I guess I'm ready to break out, have a little bit of fun. Good morning, ma mère. Good to see you today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well on this Human Rights Day. It's true. Today is International Human Rights Day, December 10th. It's a day where the world recommits itself to recognizing and protecting the rights of human beings all over the world, making sure all human beings have their basic freedoms. The day is always observed by participating governments coming together, holding conferences to discuss how to improve human rights around the world. We also give out the United Nations Human Rights Prize today. Keep your eyes open. And today is traditionally the day that the Nobel Prizes are handed out as part of International Human Rights Day. Yeah. Let's see. It started back in 1948. The United States General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But it wasn't until 1950 that Resolution 423 was passed, officially recognizing today, December 10th, as International Human Rights Day. So, a very happy International Human Rights Day to all of you out there. That's not the only thing happening today, of course. People out there have birthdays. For example, there is a woman, her name is Ada Lovelace. And if you haven't heard of her, you should know her because she is officially the very first computer programmer in history. She was born in 1815. She was an English mathematician. She worked with a guy named Babbage, who made something called a Babbage machine, which was a kind of computer, a very rudimentary computer. Miss Lovelace did the programming for that machine. Happy birthday, Ada Lovelace. Happy birthday to Emily Dickinson, American poet, great and famous American poet, Emily Dickinson. Happy birthday. Born on this day, 1830. Happy birthday to one of my favorite but little-known actors, Mr. Harold Gould. Harold Gould was born on this day in 1923. You know him if you watch The Golden Girls. He was in The Golden Girls sometimes. He was on the TV show Rhoda. I first found out about him from a great movie from the 1970s called The Sting. Happy birthday, Harold Gould. Oh my goodness, it's Susan Day's birthday. Susan Day, actress and singer from the United States, born on this day in 1952. She was in a very famous TV show back in the 60s called The Partridge Family. She was a member of this family called the Partridges. They had this funky bus. They drove around the United States doing musical concerts. Happy birthday, Susan Day. Happy birthday to British actor Kenneth Branagh. Born on this day, 1960. Kenneth Branagh, he used to be known as our generation's greatest Shakespearean actor. But now he's just known as one of this generation's greatest actors in general. And a pretty good director. By the way, Mr. Branagh, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are, I loved Murder on the Orient Express. I love Agatha Christie. That was the best version of that story I have ever seen, including the book. Thank you, Mr. Branagh. Happy birthday. But I would like to wish a very special birthday to Mr. Michael Clark Duncan, born December 10th, 1957. You know him! He played John Coffey in The Green Mile. He won an Academy Award for that. He played the Kingpin in the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Yeah. And he unfortunately died so young back in 2006. But happy birthday, Michael Clark Duncan. And happy birthday to everybody out there who's having a birthday today. If it's your birthday, let me know. I would love to celebrate you. And if your birthday's coming up, let me know so I can celebrate you in the future. But I know that you are not here for birthdays or for the Human Rights Day even. No. You are here for the word of the day. Yes, my friends, I am going to teach you a word in the English-speaking world. And don't believe for a moment that I'm just thinking of this word off the top of my head. Off the top of my head? Hello, Mr. William. Good to see you. Off the top of my head. Is that a hint? Is that a clue? Is that information that could help us figure out the word of the day? Hiya! Good to see you. Just in time for the word of the day. I know it's very late in Japan, but you'll learn the word of the day, then you can go to bed. Our word of the day today is an adjective. Our word of the day is spontaneous. Spontaneous. This is a great word. This is an everyday word. You could use the word spontaneous every day if you wanted. It's a very good word to know. And it means happening by impulse or happening without a plan. Spontaneous. I didn't plan to watch Star Wars again. It was just a spontaneous decision. Aya knows this word. Oh, good. Very good. So, Aya, does that mean you can use it in a sentence? Like I just did? I didn't plan to watch Star Wars again. It was just a spontaneous decision. Any sentence for me? For your teacher who loves you so? When I ask my students what they're doing for the holidays, they often say they have no plans and they want to be spontaneous. It's a great word. It's a great word of the day. If you have a sentence using our word of the day, go ahead, write it right here in our comment section. I will read it to the world. You will become internet famous. You know, none of this show that I do in the morning is spontaneous. None of it. I do a little bit of planning, actually. I know it doesn't seem like I do any planning. I know it seems catch as catch can. Let's do some coronavirus update because there's actually a little bit of good news, but a whole lot of bad news. Let's start with the bad news because then the good news will make us happy again. Yesterday in San Diego, we had 2,100 new cases of coronavirus, and we had 41 people die. That brings us to 1,103 deaths in San Diego, each one a tragedy. But the really bad news is the whole country, the United States. Yesterday, we had 3,053 deaths from coronavirus in the United States. And I heard a very terrible statistic about that this morning on the news. 3,053 people died yesterday in one day from coronavirus. That is more people than died on September 11th, 2001 from the bomb, from the World Trade Center disaster. In one day. So, I am happy that the United States is working very hard towards getting better leadership. But even that is proving to be a bigger challenge than it has in the past. Apparently, President Donald Trump and the state of Texas are suing some of the states that voted for Joe Biden. And I would like to tell you what the Constitution says about this, but it doesn't. No, the Constitution already tells us what has happened is what's supposed to happen. We have a winner, Joe Biden. And that brings me to our second new vocabulary word of the day. Soar loser. A sore loser is someone who, when they play a game or enter a contest and they do not win, they don't take it well. You know the person who, when you're playing a game, and you win, you beat them in the game and they turn the table over? That's a sore loser. You know the person when you're playing chess and you win and they wipe all the pieces off the board? That's a sore loser. You know the person who, when they want to be president of the United States for 4 more years, even though they had a terrible first 4 years, and then when they lose, they try to reverse the losing in court? That is a bad loser, a poor loser, a sore loser. This has been your second vocabulary lesson of the day. Actually, though, let's take a moment. Just a moment. Let's forget about coronavirus. Let's forget about election news. And let's remember that it's December. It's the holiday season. And today is a great holiday. Technically not today, because it's going to start at sunset tonight. Somewhere around, I'm guessing, 4:45. Alexa, what time is sunset in San Diego?
Sunset on Thursday, December 10th will be 4:44 p.m.
4:44. I was off by a minute. Today is the first, tonight will be the first evening of Hanukkah. Hanukkah, of course, is a very popular Jewish tradition that happens in December. It's also called the Festival of Lights because of the candles that get lit. It's a Jewish festival that commemorates the rededication of the second temple. They built a temple to their God, and they were dedicating it. And this was during the time of the Maccabean revolt. There were people who didn't want this temple to be rededicated. I am so good at many holidays. I love holidays, and I'm going to be honest about this one. I can tell you the baby Jesus story backwards and forwards. I can tell you all sorts of history about Santa Claus. These are holiday traditions that I'm familiar with. I'm not really fully familiar with the Hanukkah tradition. And I just want to say that right up front because when I'm describing it, when I'm talking about it, I'm going to make mistakes. And I don't want people to get mad at me. But I do want to invite people to correct me. So when I make a mistake, go ahead, write it down here or send me an email. I'm happy to be corrected on this. From my researches, I found out that Hanukkah in the Jewish tradition is a relatively minor holiday. It's not a super important holiday. But it's attained importance. It's become more important because it happens in December and has become connected with the Christmas holiday. I'm not going to say they compete, especially now in the new millennia. I would say that they work symbiotically with each other. Hanukkah is observed for 8 nights and 8 days, starting on the 25th day of Kislev. I probably said that wrong. I apologize. But Kislev is a month in the Hebrew calendar. The Hanukkah festival is observed by lighting candles of a special candelabra called a menorah. There are 9 spots for candles on this menorah. 1 candle is special in the middle, and it is used to light the other 8 candles. 1 candle every evening for 8 evenings. Yeah. Each night, 1 additional candle is lit until all 8 candles are lit together on the final night of the festival. I like candles. I'm guessing that it's a very beautiful sight. Other Hanukkah festivities include playing a game called the dreidel, which is a kind of top that you spin. It's half kids game, half gambling, from what I understand. Eating oil-based foods. Yeah. The Hanukkah tradition includes a miracle in which an amount of oil that could burn only for 1 day, an amount of oil that could last for 1 day, instead lasted for 8 days. Hey, GU, good to see you today. I hope you're doing well. Happy Hanukkah! Tonight, at sundown, it will be the first evening of Hanukkah. Yes, foods. Because that's really what I want to talk about today. I really want to talk about food. Because really, I always want to talk about food. During Hanukkah season, these 8 days, it's tradition to eat a lot of oily foods because the oil you fry the food in represents the oil from the miracle. In fact, a lot of the traditional foods are symbolic of events being celebrated in the Jewish traditions. So, yeah. Let's talk about some of these foods, some of these delicious foods that people are going to be cooking tonight for their Hanukkah meals. Let's start with blintzes. A blintz. A blintz is a kind of pancake. Often it's filled with a kind of cheese or fruit filling. I've had blintzes before. So delicious. But a blintz is a kind of pancake. And pancakes and flatbreads in general are important in the Jewish tradition because they are able to be prepared quickly in case you gotta get out of Dodge or Cairo. Another food that will be eaten tonight and for the next 8 nights are called, I'm going to try this one, Lukumaris. I looked it up. I think I'm pretty close on this pronunciation. Lukumaris are a kind of donut. Really, I would say they're a kind of donut hole. They're a little piece of dough, round, deep fried in oil. Yeah, and when it's cooked, you take it out of the oil and you dip it into sugar or honey to make it sweet. These little puff balls represent the cakes that the Maccabees ate while they were rededicating their temple. So much symbolism in the food. Thanksgiving in the United States, we eat turkey. Students often ask me, Chris, why do people eat turkey on Thanksgiving? It's not about symbolism, it's about size. A turkey's big and cheap. You can feed a lot of people with a turkey. But apparently on Hanukkah, the food is symbolic. The last food that I'm going to share, that will be prepared by millions of people all over the world tonight, including me. I'm going to make this recipe tonight. Latkes! I love latkes. Latkes are a kind of potato pancake. I'm going to make it tonight because they're very delicious. How do you make latkes? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to take 3 or 4 good-size russet potatoes, and I'm going to grate them. I'm going to be very careful not to grate my fingers, because if you grate your fingers, you'll have fingers in your latkes, and that does not make them delicious. That makes them cannibalistic. So I'm going to grate the potato. Then I'm going to take an onion, and I'm going to grate the onion as well. I'm going to put it all together. Put it all together into a towel, into a tea towel. Because I have to twist this mass of grated potato and onion. I have to twist it to get the water out. And you'll be surprised at how much water comes out of a potato. There's a lot in there. Yeah. The more water you get out of this mixture, the better your latkes will be. After you've squeezed all of the water out, put all of that mass in a bowl. Add an egg, or 2, depending on how many potatoes you're using. 1 egg for every 3 potatoes. Add your salt. Add your pepper. Add a little bit of flour. 100 grams. half a cup, something like that. One, just a little bit, enough to hold everything together. Mix it all together, and once you've done that, you can take out some of that mass, make a little pancake, put it into a pan with some hot oil, about a minute, 2 minutes aside. Take them out of the oil, drain them on some paper towel, add a little more salt. Oh, it's going to be good. I'm going to eat mine with some applesauce and some sour cream. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a vegetable. Who knows? But that's my recipe for latkes. Anybody out there going to cook for Hanukkah? Anybody else out there planning to cook just in general, just for fun? You know, cooking is one of my hobbies. It's something that I really love to do. All right. That's what I got. The guy in the Santa hat, that's all I got for you today. What did we talk about, though? I think we talked about good stuff. We talked about a Hanukkah tradition and some Hanukkah foods that we can eat. We talked a little bit about coronavirus. Did we talk about the vaccine? I'll mention this very quickly. It looks like the United States Food and Drug Administration is going to approve a coronavirus vaccine as soon as today. That's the best news ever. Keep your eyes on the news for that one. We talked about our word of the day. Spontaneous, happening by impulse and without a plan. Aya's telling me she doesn't cook very often. Oh no. Aya, if you don't cook, how do you get okonomiyaki? What about the takoyaki? How do you get takoyaki? Okay, you know how to make cookies. That's the important part. Now, Aya, I'm your teacher, and I have to make sure you're making cookies the right way. So, I'm going to send you my address. I'll send you a direct message with my address. You send me some cookies, and I'll check them out just to make sure you're doing a good job. Okay? Okay? No? I tried. Our word of the day today was spontaneous, happening by impulse and without a plan. A very special birthday to Mr. Michael Clark Duncan, the actor from The Green Mile. Happy Human Rights Day, and of course tonight, happy Hanukkah. I hope you have a good one. Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, light the menorah. Let's have a party. You are a great class. Thank you very much. My name is Chris. I love you all. Go away. Candles are burning low. One for each time they share.